Jeffries here. Yo, I'll do a quick intro on myself, but honestly, it's really not about me. We're doing this because we care about what everybody is going through. So, for those who don't know me, Perry Jeffries, president of Diamond Equity Advisors, a financial service firm and business consulting firm here in Columbus, Ohio, with clients across the country. Doing this call, which is going to actually be a series, because we're all experiencing a crisis. We're all going through a crisis right now. And I talked to my team. We sat down and brainstormed, and we realized there's a lot of pain out there. A lot of pain out there, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of frustration, a lot of fear. And we get that because we're experiencing it as well. So what we decided to do was we're going to get on here. Hold on, said barely. Check 1 2 1 2. Y'all hear me okay? Okay. We're going to get on here on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, potentially Monday through Monday through Thursday, Monday through Friday, just to give y'all some tips. So we're going to call this, the Coronavirus Survival Kit Series, and we're going to rock. And we're going to build together because I've experienced this before in the past, but nothing to this magnitude where this is impacting everybody. So I've had some experience with recessions, and I'm going to discuss those and how that may play a part in what we're experiencing right now. But more importantly, more importantly, we're going to answer some questions and things of that nature. So before we get started, we want to thank our sponsor. Since this is the first of the series, this segment is sponsored by the PASS program, the Profit Accelerator Small Business System. That program is to help entrepreneurs increase cash flow, improve revenue, and profitability. But right now, we're putting that on hold because that's not what people need. But that's who it's sponsored by. And any of my entrepreneurs watching this, if you have a t-shirt you want me to rock to give you a shout out and you want to sponsor a segment, no charge to sponsor a segment, just give me the t-shirt and I'm happy to rep you because we really got to focus on the ecosystem because this is impacting all of us. All right, so with that being said, let's talk about the history of this thing. One, we've never seen anything like this. So let's just get that out there. Anybody who says they've experienced this before or seen this before is absolutely lying. We've never seen anything like this. So this is a crisis. But my definition of a crisis is, a situation that we've never experienced before. So every crisis that's ever happened has been a crisis because it's never been experienced before. Because after we experience it, then we know how to deal with it if it comes back around, so it's no longer a crisis. Okay, so understand that. So this is the unknown, which makes it a crisis by my definition. So let's talk about other crises that we've had in the past, and I'll tell you how it's personally impacted me and some lessons that you can take from it. So check this out. I got into the financial service industry almost 20 years ago. And before I get into the financial service industry, we experienced a crisis in the stock market. This was between 2000 and 2003. This was what was called the dot-com bubble, right? So we had all of these tech companies who were just blowing up, right? You know what I'm saying? All kind of growth. You can invest in the market and make all kind of money with the stock, with the tech stocks. And then that bubble burst and people lost a lot of money. But also, too, what else happened around that same time frame between 2000 and 2003? We can pull it up here. In 2001, we had the 9/11 attacks, right? So the market dipped down and it was a crisis. Well, at that point in time, I didn't have, I wasn't in real estate at the time. I wasn't in the stock market real heavy at the time. I had just got into the stock market and I had started investing. And unbeknownst to me, I had no idea it was a recession, which means I was investing in a low point in the market. Well, come post 2003, when we come out of that, I look up, I have a huge nest egg. I'm like, whoa, what happened? All I was doing was like $200 a paycheck. I was working as a personal trainer over at Lifetime Fitness at the time. Had no idea what was going on with stocks. Just somebody came in and said, hey, if you invest, on a continual basis, right? Dollar cost average, you can build some net worth and build some wealth. Well, I just took the advice of the financial advisor, really had no idea what was going on, and I looked up, and after 2003, I had a nest egg, and that nest egg allowed me to go out and purchase more real estate. So that's the first time a crisis hit. And I didn't realize it was a crisis because I didn't have a huge real estate portfolio. I didn't have a huge stock portfolio, huge 401k. You know, I was making okay money, but it didn't impact me as much as others may have, right? Well, fast forward 2007 to 2009. By this time, I am knee deep into the stock market. I became a financial advisor in 2003. And so by 2007, 2009, I had amassed about a $4 million real estate portfolio. I was heavily in the stock market, and I had clients who were heavily in the stock market. And then the market hit a high in October 2007. The Dow Jones, I think it was around 14,000, and that thing dropped. Just completely, the floor fell out. Dropped all the way till we got to about March of 2009 when the Dow was around 6,700. Right, so we're looking at 50, 60% drop during that time. I felt that one. So let me tell you what happened to me, y'all. So I had a real estate portfolio, like I said. I was making money hand over fist. I was a financial advisor. I was doing my thing, and then I got hit in the mouth. And if anybody who saw my previous post said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Well, my ass got punched square in the mouth, and I was frantic. I was scrambling. I was like, oh my God. The market is crashing. I got clients calling me who are losing money. I'm losing money. I'm doing real estate deals. The banks have stopped lending. I got, exposure. Lost, $400,000 on one deal. I am scrambling. I'm losing my ass, and I'm emotional, right? And what did I do during that time? Instead of seeking professional guidance, I made an emotional decision, which cost me $4 million in net worth. Well, in real estate worth, if you will. My net worth at the time was around about $1 million or so. But it cost me $1 million in net worth, $4 million in assets, and that was over 10 years ago, which means I could have been, which the money I lost from 2009 to now, I don't even want to try to calculate and figure out how much that was because I lost my ass, right? And that's because I made an emotional decision. So instead of seeking professional advice, what I did after losing money, and when I say y'all, these was hard times. I became a dad at this time. Y'all know I have twin girls. My daughters were born in July of 2009, right? That year, I made, left my one firm, went to a different firm. That year, I made $30,000 in 2009. Right? Everybody thought I was out here balling out of control. Well, I was not. That market came, that crisis came and punched me dead in the mouth. I made $30,000. That wasn't even a fourth of what I was used to making prior to. But I learned some valuable lessons. One, always seek professional guidance. You cannot make emotional decisions. So one of the first things we have to do, y'all, is calm down. I'm going to give you guys some takeaways here, but I want to finish telling the story. So I lost everything. Had kids, not one, but two, and had to try to figure this thing out. And instead of getting professional guidance, I got some guidance from a buddy, and that buddy's advice ended up costing me a $4 million real estate portfolio. During that same time, I had a client who had the same amount of properties that I had, about 26 to 30 properties. He sought out professional guidance, and he was able to turn that crisis into wealth. So today in 2020, I don't have any real estate in my name. Went from $4 million in real estate to having zero rental properties, zero investment properties, right? My client who sought professional guidance during that time and didn't make an emotional decision now has close to 80 properties, almost 40 of them paid off in full, and he's netting $35,000 a month. Net. Not gross. Don't talk to me about gross. Anybody who knows me, I'll give a shit about gross. I'm talking about net. That's what he was able to do because he took a crisis, he stayed level-headed, and he got professional guidance, which is able to help him navigate through that crisis. Okay? So that's just kind of what happened to me then. And, and hindsight being 2020, I want to make sure that y'all don't make the same mistake I made. And then let's fast forward to 2020 where we are right now. Let's make no mistakes about it. This is a crisis, right? And if you take a step back, you'll be amazed by the lessons that you can learn via crisis. You learn how much money you can really live off of. So back in 2007, 2009, when I was forced to live off of $30,000 after making high six figures via real estate and being an advisor, shoot, for those who don't know this, I was able to write a check to send my sister to college, flew down to Florida State and cut a check for out-of-state tuition. That's how I was rolling. And then to go to making only $30,000, but guess what? I found out I could actually survive on $30,000. I realized how much money that I really need to survive. So during the crisis, you're going to find some things out. You're going to find out, you know what I'm saying, who's important to you and who you're important to. You're going to find out what you really need to survive on. You're going to find out exactly where you need to focus your energy and attention, because when a crisis hits, after you take the emotion out the equation, you become very crystal clear on where you need to go. So I'm going to give you guys just a couple of takeaways. So number one, gather yourself and get calm. I'm not going to tell anybody to stay calm, because that's absolute bullshit. It's hard out here right now, and this is touching everybody, y'all. This is absolutely touching everybody. So understand, we got to get calm. And how you get calm, the reason you have to do this is because there are other people who are depending on you. If you're a parent, your kids need you to stay calm. If you're a cousin, if you're an entrepreneur, your staff needs you to stay calm, because these are going to be hard times. But we want to get calm because other people are depending on you to make good decisions, not just with your finance, but just not just with your family, but just across the board with your health. I mean, the whole gambit, everything's involved in this. Understand this. This is impacting us in every facet of our lives, our health, our money, our mental state. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? We got to stay on top of this, because we're potentially looking at a bunch of different depressions, right? So, and not a depression as far as in the market, I'm talking about mental health. Like, this is going to hurt some people. So it's so important that you gather yourself, get your head together, right? And get yourself calm. Second thing, don't isolate yourself. I've kind of already talked about the depression piece. Here's the deal. Do not isolate yourself and get into your feelings and get into your head. We're all going through this. And if there's any solace in that, you know what I'm saying, any level of comfort in that, is that this is something we're experiencing all together. I don't care where you are on any type of level. This is a crisis which is impacting us all. We all need support. So don't isolate yourself. And I know we're all quarantined. Figure out a way, just, you know what I'm saying, if you're quarantined with your family, you know, spend that quality time with each other. You know, if you got family outside, figure out how to FaceTime them. I mean, like today, my wife and my daughters, you know what I'm saying, we walked to my parents' crib, and they didn't let us in because, you know, they ain't playing around. But, you know, we walked in, they gave us some food, they prepared for us, and they saw our face, right? Don't isolate yourself, y'all, because you'll find, from a mental health standpoint, one of the worst things you can do is isolate yourself. And we're quarantined, which means we got to get creative for how we connect. Make those phone calls. Learn how to use FaceTime, Skype, Zoom, whatever the case may be. But stay connected with your peoples, y'all. Third one I have here for you. After you gather yourself and you don't isolate yourself, see where you stand on paper, right? And I mean just across the board. You know, a lot of our finances are going to get jacked up. But the deal is, we got to take a look at it, how it looks on paper. If I was to show you guys kind of my desk right now, it's all kind of envelopes and folders and sticky notes and whatnot. You got to see how you look on paper. And so get a clear head. Think about what's important, because you may run out of money, but you ain't ran out of love or compassion, because we all running out of money right now, to keep it 100. Right. So with that being said, you know what I'm saying, then we got to get to work. See where you look on paper. So the deal is, you may be better off than you think, but we got to see how it looks on paper. You may actually be worse than you think, but we got to see how it looks on paper. So here's the deal. If that shit don't make sense on paper, it will never make sense in real life. So you got to get it on paper, because after it's on paper, now we can make some decisions on what we need to do. right? Do you have enough money or reserves to make it through 3 months, 4 months, right? You'll identify, okay, you know what, I need to let this go, need to cut this out. You know, we're going through the crisis right here, and I was thinking about it this morning. I haven't spent any money on eating out. How much money have I saved not eating out? It's like, you know, it's a silver lining to this, y'all. You know what I'm saying? The crisis is gonna breed creativity. So see how you look on paper, because after you see how you look on paper, then you can create a plan around that. So that's my other piece right there. Third takeaway again: if it doesn't make sense on paper, that shit will not make sense in real life. Get a piece of paper, see where you stand with that. And then last one I'm gonna leave, because these are gonna be just short segments, because we're gonna do these daily. So I could go on for like hours with this shit. But seek professional counsel. Here's the deal. This is a crisis. Shit is bad out in these streets. Believe that. But real talk, please do not make decisions on your own. And unfortunately, in a crisis like this, it may not be a good idea for you and your spouse to be making decisions on your own, because everybody is so emotional, right? So you gotta connect with professionals to give you professional guidance on how to navigate through this thing, right? It's super important, because at no point in time, I've never seen someone making a good financial decision based on emotion. You have to have somebody. Now, granted, I'm emotional right now, right? You know, and I've had to gather myself many times, because my clients need me to be rational. So I'm emotional about my personal situation, and I'm grinding. But I still have my rationale and my expertise, where if I'm working with somebody else, I'm not emotionally involved in their situation. I just had a couple spoke to last night. Spent about an hour on the phone with them. They came on board as financial planning clients, you know, probably paid money that they would have rather hold on to, but they saw the importance of, hey, we need to have a professional come in who's not emotionally attached to our situation to give us guidance and navigate us through this. So this is not to promote me, but this is just to instill in you that you do not want to start making emotional decisions. An emotional decision for me back in 2007, 2009 cost me a $4 million real estate portfolio. I should be a multi-millionaire working on close to $1 billion had I kept up the pace I was going at, but I did not, because I got in my feelings. I was and I didn't seek guidance. So if I was even to tie in to seek the professional counsel, I would say this: humble yourself. You know, don't be afraid to ask for help, because guess what? We all need that shit. And I may need to reach out to you for some help. Feel free to reach out to me for some help. You know, and that some of that help may come with where you got to pay for help. Some of that help may come for free, right? So I'm doing these calls, these Facebook Lives every day at noon. That's my commitment to y'all, because it's so important that we support each other. We are all in this together, y'all. If you thought that we weren't all tied together, and that there's a true ecosystem, not just a business ecosystem, but the human ecosystem, as humans, we are all in this together, and we got to support each other, right? So with that being said, seek professional advice. So let me go through everything before we close out. Gather yourself and get yourself calm. There are other people depending on you to be calm. Your families, your children, your parents, your loved ones. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get your head wrapped around that. So first of all, get calm. How I was able to do that when me and my wife, you know what I'm saying, we were concerned because her income's about to be cut off, because she's a massage therapist, and she can't be, I mean, shit, it's impossible to keep 6 foot distance if you're a massage therapist. It's absolutely impossible. So we got scared there for a second. And then when we reflected, we said, you know what? It's going to be tight, but by damn, we got each other. I got my parents down the street. I got my sister down the street. We communicate every day. We make each other laugh. We got each other. So guess what? If you're running out of money, everybody is. So let that sink in. You know what I'm saying? This ain't just, oh, woe is me, I'm running out of money. Everybody's getting hit by this bad boy in some way, shape, or form. So keep calm, because there's other people depending on you. Don't isolate yourself. Don't isolate yourself. Don't allow yourself to fall into a depression. And even though we're quarantined, get creative. FaceTime, Skype, Facebook, you know what I'm saying? Put eyes on people, talk to people, check in on people. Next one we have right here. See how you look on paper. If it doesn't make sense on paper, it's not going to make sense in real life. You need to know whether you're in a good shape, great shape, or horrible shape, but you won't know that until you put it on paper so you can see it. And then last, seek professional counsel. And professional counsel, you may have to pay for it. And that investment, I mean, God, I wish I had those years back and would have paid that 5-10 grand to the attorney to help save my $4 million portfolio, where I would have had $30 million today. Hindsight, but back then was like, oh man, I ain't got that money to spend. Hindsight being 2020, I wish I spent that money. But you know, even if you're not in a position to spend that money for professional counsel, yo, we have all kind of, you know what I'm saying, free no cost trainings and workshops and YouTubes and whatnot. Take advantage of this time to get in front of some professionals and work on mindset, because the people who take this time, as all of us are running out of money, to get their mindset together, are going to be in a position to win. All right. So that's what I have for y'all, man. And yo, here's the deal. We doing this every day, different topic, but this is just to jump off. This is the first one, the inaugural one, get this piece going. So tune in every daily at 12 noon for your coronavirus survival kit series. K Jeffries here, entrepreneur CFO. Appreciate y'all joining me, y'all. Appreciate the comments. Appreciate the love. And again, we all in this together, y'all. You know what I'm saying? We love y'all. Let's work. All right. Peace.